All righty. All right, I'm live. So here, hello everyone. Welcome back. My name is Andrea Hall, and I am just sharing quick updates about the Weaver curriculum that I'm doing with my kids for our homeschool curriculum this year. I am using Weaver. It's a very strong Christian-based curriculum. Actually, it's very similar to Sunlight Education Ministries. So if you're familiar with that, it's very similar to that, but it's not specific to a denomination like Sunlight Education Ministries, not to be confused with Sunlight. So just want to make sure you guys don't get them confused. But Weaver, I've been using Weaver. I like it because everything's kind of laid out with what you need to do every week. And it also gives you flexibility to kind of fill in. So we started in the beginning of August. August 5th is actually when we started back school, and we've been using it ever since. So here's what I've been learning with Weaver. Okay. I like the flexibility that it gives. It doesn't seem so overwhelming, but I do have to fill in. It's pretty much, it gives you a guideline, but you have to fill in the curriculum. And you might hear my kids in the background. So here's what I'm learning so far. With the units, with the Bible lessons, they give you like a general idea of what to do in the Bible lessons. What I decided to do to fill in the gaps was I had some Bible storybooks. It's actually called Century Children's Classic, right? Or Children's Century Classics. I guess I should get the book to show you, but it's a series of books. Actually, I think I do want to get the books to share with you. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. So sorry for those of you guys who are watching the recording and had that empty space, but I wanted to get the book so I could tell you. It's called Children's Century Classics. So what I've had to do with the Bible is I kind of fill in the gaps, and then we do the Children's Century Classics to fill it in. So what I find myself doing is I'll read the Bible verse and the Bible application, and I'll do that in Weaver, but then I'll find the correlating story. So, for example, today, lesson 5, or the Bible lesson 5, was about heaven. So, this talks about God's perfect playground, and it has the scripture references right here, Revelation 21 and 22, which is actually what we were reading in Weaver, which is what it told us to read. So, it matches up with the scripture. So, I read the story to them because they found that more entertaining and interesting. So we did that. And then Weaver has some things to do. So, like for English, they wanted the kids to write a letter to a friend telling them about heaven. For my sixth grader, she needs to write a poem, and she started working on her poem, talking about heaven. And then my first grader, my 6-year-old TJ, he drew a picture about heaven. So that's how Weaver kind of brings it down. So what I found with Weaver is that I do have to fill in the gaps with the Bible stories. Okay, so if you have Bible books around the house, start paying attention to which Bible stories kind of match up with what the scriptures are, and then that kind of fills in the gaps. So that's one of the things I've been doing. So Children's Century Classics have been really good for me, and that's how I've been filling in the gaps for the Bible lessons. One of the other things I found is some of the things are dated. So it is a dated curriculum. Just to make sure you're aware of it. It is a dated curriculum. So some of the things have changed. So what I did was I've been finding videos on YouTube to also fill in some of the information. It talks about Noah's Ark, the flood, and all the geology and all the science behind it, right? With the tsunamis and how we have the new layers and mega sequences, right, in the Earth's sedimentary layers, right? So I found a really cool video on YouTube that actually went through and showed all of that and explained how to do all of that. So some of the things that I found here where it says, and you're going to hear my son coming in here, So some of the things that it says to read up on, I found books. If I couldn't find the books about it, I went ahead and found a YouTube video. And I actually created a playlist for myself. So if you're interested, I can share it in the comments below. But I just created a playlist and I'm going to keep adding videos to it that kind of go along with the lesson. So that's the other thing that we've started to do, is kind of fill in some of the gaps with that. It talked about a city. We live in a city, but our city is not incorporated. So we don't have a lot of the city structure. So I had to go to the county to find some of that information. And then finally, the other thing I noticed was that unit 1 is a 4-week unit, but when you get to chapter 2, it redoes everything again. TJ, you're going to be on camera. It does it all over again. So we just finished chapter 1, right? It's a 10-day curriculum. Don't turn that on quite yet, TJ. We're actually cleaning up the house. So TJ's going to vacuum in here pretty soon. But so we just finished chapter 1, which was 10 days. And, I kind of just go with the flow. I kind of look at it a week ahead of time. So I don't look too far ahead. So I was looking at Monday today. So today's Friday. And I was looking at Monday's lesson. And I'm like, oh, we start back over again, which was kind of cool because I felt like if we went through it a little fast, I'm almost done. I felt like if we went through the curriculum kind of fast. So it was really cool to know that we're going to be going through it again, so that it gets down inside their spirit. Okay. So that was something else that I learned, that the curriculum is going to repeat itself. So the curriculum is going to repeat itself on Monday. So we're going to start chapter 2. It's going to cover different lessons in science and social studies, but the Bible lessons repeat. And I think it just goes down deeper for the other lessons. So I hope I didn't talk too fast. I hope that gave you a little more insight into Weaver. These updates are kind of helpful for me because it kind of reminds me of what I'm going to do next and how to make it work. So that's why I'm doing that. It's kind of like my own teacher reflection, and hopefully it'll help some of you who are looking at homeschool curriculums. If you have multiple students, maybe check it out. It does give you a lot of flexibility, so you kind of fill it in with whatever you want to add in there. With my 6th grader, I think we're going to start adding in the book Patriarchs and Prophets, because the stories that we're going through in Weaver line up very nicely with that. And I think that will challenge her. And I want to challenge her a little bit more. So those are some of the ways I'm thinking of adding dimensions to the curriculum. And because it's so flexible, you can do that. All right. So hopefully that helped you guys. Have a blessed day and bye.